What's going on, guys? Hey, it's Anthony, and it is garage talk time. Still snowing outside here in Alaska, but that's okay. We have something kind of cool, a little bit different than our normal venue. Today we're not actually going to be talking too much about the Camaro. We're actually going to talk about this guy right here, and that is my 2014 Night Rod Special, made by Harley-Davidson. It's a 1250. Right now I actually got it sitting on the battery tender. It's charging up because I need to run it. We'll run it today in this video, and that's really the whole reason why I thought, why not bust out the camera and do a garage talk just about this guy real quick while it's charging, fired up, let it run for a few minutes, and then call it a garage talk. So anyways, short story about this bad boy is I was driving this guy around, which is my 92 Sportster 883. I had some issues with it. It ended up dying out on me about 4 years ago in the middle of summer, so I thought, shit, I'm gonna have to take it all back apart. I'm not gonna be able to ride for the summer. Actually, it was the beginning of summer, excuse me. In fact, it was the last day of school for both my kids, and my wife had mentioned, hey, why don't we go look at new bikes? I said, I don't know, you know, and we ended up down there anyways at the local Denali Harley-Davidson shop, which is a pretty nice little shop with an assortment of bikes just like any other motorcycle place. So we ended up down there. I knew about the Vrod. I'd been actually following it online for really since it came out. I just thought that the bold design, as far as kind of that frame and the big 1250 motor in it, and Harley-Davidson met up with Porsche in Germany and designed it, all those things. I thought it was such a unique and kind of a badass deal, one-off. You don't see them very often, so forth and so on. So I was like, man, I went and looked at the Sportsters that were there, Road Glides, Fat Bobs, Street Bob, all of that stuff. Anyways, I went and looked at a bunch of bikes. This was sitting in the back, which was kind of one of those things where you're like, man, that thing is nice. Man, that thing is nice. Looked at it. They had two of them actually at the time. They had this, and then they had the muscle. I didn't really care for the muscle. I think some of it looked cool, but I think some of the design cues on it weren't as kind of slick and to my liking as much as this guy. So, make a long story short, that evening, after going and running to my kids' schools, this bad boy was delivered right out in the parking area right there. They had one of those badass trucks that the whole bed drops onto the ground. Wheeled it off. I jumped on the bike, went for a quick ride. Obviously quite a bit different from this guy, even though, you know, I'd driven a lot of different quads in my time, dirt bikes, my Sportster, snow machines, all of that stuff. Wasn't quite necessarily prepared for this, but this really was my kind of my dream bike, really. I mean, there wasn't a bike out there that really stood out quite as much as the Vrod to me. I just loved the way it looked. I loved that it had the motor that was in it. I love the story. And then of course there it was sitting right there. Since getting it, a couple of things to note. Obviously I've done some modifications. I'm not going to go into all of the stuff I've done to it. That's just not today's video. Something that I will be changing hopefully, I don't know about this year because I got some plans for the truck this year and still some Camaro plans. Maybe next year when I kind of get a refresh done on it, is hopefully change the seat in the rear fender. And the reason is, real quick, if you look at this, let's get down here. If you look at the swoop on the seat, your tailbone sits right here. And after you ride, and then it's actually pretty wide, if you look at it right there, after you ride on this bad boy for over an hour, man, you start feeling it. Anyways, they do have the battery tender hooked to it, and actually it looks like it's charged now. I would suggest a battery tender. I'll put a link to it down below if you guys are interested in something like this for your motorcycle, your side-by-side, or whatever it is you have. But anyways, it's just SA'd right to the battery. Looks like this right here, which is so pretty cool, because it sits right here in my saddlebag, and whenever I need to charge it, I just pull it out, plug it in, and off I go. I haven't started this guy in a little while. That's why I thought, what better opportunity to do a garage talk than to do it with this guy. Now, I have done some modifications, nothing too crazy. The most recent one in which I'll be doing an install video on is the LED front light on it. These are actually the muscle mirrors. You know, the black levers. I did a lot of the blackout stuff, a bunch of caps and covers, which Harley dings you for just about everything, and it is expensive. So don't let that fool you. The axle nut covers. I do have it tuned. I got a tap performance tuner on it. Go to this side. That exhaust is a Bassani B1 race exhaust, which is badass. I love that setup. And then it has a high flow air filter on it. This is, just so you guys understand, on this bike, if you guys haven't seen a Vrod, this right here is not the gas tank, where I accidentally oversprayed some cleaner. Right here, that is the gas tank. This big ass thing on it right there is actually where the air filter sits, and then there's two big ass throttle bodies that sit right on the top of the 1250 on it. So it's a kind of a beast of a machine. It does need to be cleaned up. Actually, I'm getting kind of stoked about spring coming, because obviously I can drive this and drive the Camaro and hopefully get the Sportster going, but it'd also be nice to just clean the shit out of both of these bad boys, because it's like I've got some cleaner stuff I'll go over at some point for the bike and for the Camaro while they sit in the garage, but really it doesn't do near as good as, you know, a little bit of water pressure and scrubbing the piss out of it, letting it air dry, or not letting it air dry, wipe it down, dry it off, and then going through it all with some chemicals and some cleaners and conditioners, so forth and so on. But that's not the point of today's video. It's not a cleaning video. It is garage talk time. Hey, what do you guys have other than a Camaro? Drop a comment below, tell us, or a bike, or, you know, maybe it's not a Camaro, maybe it's something else. What are you guys riding? What are you guys driving? Drop a comment below. We are interested to hear what is in your garage. Let's fire this bad boy up, and I think we'll call it there. This is more or less kind of the Vrod video. I'll leave it at that. We'll go into more details on this bad boy here in the near future. I just wanted to tell that kind of quick story. One thing I do got to get for it sooner than later is some license plate bolts, because I lost one right at my last ride of the season. So without further ado, let's fire this bad boy up. Alright guys, so obviously it's pretty loud in here, but there it is. We're gonna let it run for a little bit, let the fluids kind of cycle in it, hopefully let the battery run. I've got a fan I'm gonna fire up so we can blow, make sure the exhaust isn't coming into the house and all of that fun stuff. But that pretty much wraps up this week's garage talk video. Hope you guys enjoyed. We're gonna bring something new hopefully every single week. I know it's loud in here, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We got a lot of badass stuff coming. We got more installs coming for the Camaro and everything else. So if you guys aren't subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, of course, if you're not watching this on YouTube, and Instagram and everywhere else. So until next week, guys, be safe out on the road, and we'll see you in the next video.